Going to be, well, first of all, I feel like I'm a little short today. This is going to be a collective reading for today, 5/11/2021, and it is definitely a portal day. It's funny because normally I catch the portals before they come up, and I've been pretty darn good about going on listening, but I did notice that, like, I knew of some recently that happened, but I couldn't come to a proper name for them, so I didn't do videos. Like the Scorpio super full moon, I knew was kind of a portal of vulnerabilities, but it didn't quite fit. And it feels like that's kind of the theme that's been going on, and I feel like it's partly because of this portal. Um, and it's a portal that's syncing up with the new moon and Venus and Saturn and a couple of different things going on, and the energy of the last super full moon and the upcoming energy of the super full blood moon eclipse. Ooh, what a mouthful, right? And it feels like it's one of those, if you just take the words out and go for the feeling, what's there? What's the feeling? If you take the thought out, if you take the ego out, if you take the, I don't even know what the word is. See, that's what I mean. It's kind of one of those things. Now, that being said, I was having a delightful time because I know that today, I mean, just going by numerology, this is the year of the Hierophant, and May being the fifth month is the month of the Hierophant. So we always every year have that Hierophant energy, but it gets extra oomph. Because, got the oomph because of the year. Much like last year had extra oomph in April and also in February because of the twos and the fours, right? So I know there is extra energy in that, and Hierophant energy in and of itself is both kind of this like serious spiritual pursuit of knowledge and like little bit of acknowledgement of being on a pedestal and things like that, but it's also pompery, like pomp and circumstance. It's a bit of silliness, if you will. And so to have that extra energy is interesting, and it really, there's been a big theme on keys. Now keys could be like definite, like keys, like house keys or chastity keys, or just keys in general, but also like keys as in on a map, and in terms of knowledge, like the key to unlock this bit of knowledge or the next manifesting step, or you name it. And so it feels like it's definitely a month of higher learning, of connecting to spirit in not necessarily, like, it does not always a continuation of what was before. But I was having fun because two things happened when I was pulling cards. I was like, you know what, I'm going to pull some general cards first, and that will somehow, hopefully, help me figure out a name for this portal. So rather than sitting around going, I can't find a name for it, so I won't do it, I'm just like, oh, you know what, I've done this before. I got this. And when I pulled out the cards, I laughed because I wanted my Divine Energy Oracle deck, and I cannot find it. I know I had to move it yesterday, and it is not in my magic hat, and I know I put it in one of my side bags that I have some other cards in, and it is not revealing itself to me. I'm pretty sure it is still in one of those bags, but I've gone through all of them and cannot find them. And I was like, you know what? Okay, there's something to do with that. Those cards do not want to be in this reading right now, or maybe even the ones today. I don't know why. And so I pulled out my oh, it's funny. I guess this is the Divine Energy Oracle. This is another. I know it's Divine Energy something. Anyways, I pulled out this one, and isn't that funny? Spirit's like, see, you did have that deck right there. It's the other deck that you didn't have, and you were using the wrong name the whole time. Which maybe that's another theme. Like maybe, in fact, I know that that's a theme of the energy coming in, especially Hierophant energy. Is very much this, like, maybe I wasn't looking at, maybe there was a way that I could have looked at that differently. Hope that didn't go through on there. I'm going to put my notifications on silent so they don't come in the video. Um, but either way, like when I went to pull out this deck, this card was right on top. And it's so funny, and I'm going, okay, so I wanted a card from that deck because it's really good for picking up energies, and I was already going to combine it with this deck. Feathers deck and a couple other things. And I'm laughing. I even went and like triple checked for this deck again. I'm going, nope, this is the card that we get today. And it's interesting because look what card it is. Dun dun dun. Deceits. And no coincidences, it's card number 25. And today being 5/11, 5 plus 2 is 7, right? And you can even go the other way. It's 16, which is also 7. So we've got a bit of tower energy in there. We've got twice, we've got 7, which is chariot energy in there. And it's interesting because when I saw that card, I'm going, I know that isn't the total energy of today, and I'm picking up a lot of different things off that card by itself. So I'm going to do what I originally planned to do, pull a few more cards. Then I got Express Your Joy. And the card on that ended up on the bottom of that deck, I actually put it in the title because it felt like it was meant to be there, but also meant to be secondary, is Make a Plan. And right underneath that, I love this, Say No. And right under that, Focus on Success. Right? Many cards underneath that are going along with the Hierophant and the Chariot vibe, right? The Feather cards also did some interesting things. And so I asked for one card. And typically I will take either the card that pops out first before the rest of them, or I'll pick a few that feel right. But this time something weird happened. This pile fell out, and then this one came out, and I had a choice. I could say, I'll just take this one because it made itself clear to me, and I'll put all these back, or I could take just these ones and put this one back, or I could take all of them. And you know what? I decided this time I'm going to take all of them because they feel like they make a message that go together. And you'll probably see why with the Deceit card and the Express Your Joy card and the Make a Plan card, and then the different feathers that came up from the birds that came up, I almost called this the Portal of Predators. But it felt like the title wouldn't quite be understood in the right way. There was a lesson that made its way to me over this last year. Especially in the way that some people act around me, which is especially if there's somebody that, at least within the collective, likes to be known as, I don't know, an aggressive person, a scary person, a kick your butt kind of person, and they never act that way around me. Not that I would sit with it. I mean, I wouldn't do anything with it. I'd just raise the vibrations and it wouldn't be a thing anymore. Or I don't rendezvous with them, or they don't want to rendezvous with me. So it's not a thing, but there's a point when you start to go from thinking that people are just weird to when you recognize that, especially when you get on the divine path, you become the predator. And remember, predators are a part of the cycle of life. They're not bad. Like, in fact, we need them to, think about the wolves that go and get the salmon and they drag it up into the forest, or then they poop somewhere higher up in the forest, and so do the bears. And because they do that, certain minerals and salts and things that are not typically found up there get up there, and like the trees really need that. The soils really need that. And they don't need much, they need just as much as gets brought up there. It keeps the balance going on. And without wolves and bears, the deers would like overpopulate, and same thing, foxes to rabbits, things like that. So we do need predators. But I also mean in a sense that a predator does not have to be seen as like this scary thing, right? It's not all predators are scary. But there's also this duality because, I mean, and I don't mean this just in the twin flame realm. We all have karmics and things that we deal with. That's not just in twin flame stuff. We all have people who come and visit us and play certain roles out so that we can learn certain karmic lessons, either that we want to, or we need to, or to pick up from a last life, or simply to learn something that we'd like to learn in order to be able to manifest something in this lifetime. And so those people will come in and out, and those people typically become who we kind of look at as predators, like scary people, mean people, manipulative people, people who hurt you and cheat on you and do things like that, play the bad guy, tell you you're not good enough, try to get in the way between you and loved ones, things like that. Try to fool you into like gaslighting yourself, things of that nature. And we typically look at them as predators, though the great irony is that when we stand in our own truths and we have faith and trust in ourselves and spirit, and just we do our light work by just being a source of good energy that is genuine and not like just faked to have the outward look of positivity. We actually become the predators, especially when we get good with healthy boundaries, not overreaction boundaries, healthy boundaries, just simple boundaries. No, thank you. Like I don't feel like playing that way, or hey, you be nice to me. Simple stuff like that. If you're not gonna be nice to me, I'm not gonna play with you, right? Just simple stuff like that. But when you start to be a force for good without being forceful, even, and just like doing your thing, and you're clear that you can stand in your own in whatever way that you need to, you become the threat. So you become the predator to anyone in karmic energy, either because you get all the things that they wanted, and they're not making the connection between, it's like it's not just luck. It doesn't just happen like that. Divine timing can seem that way sometimes, but you still got to do all the work to get yourself in a high enough vibe to get on the roller coaster in order to be able to be in the right place in the right station when divine timing arrives, so that you can see what you need to see and hear what you need to hear in order to line up with what you want. It's not exactly luck. It can start to feel that way later once you get really good at it and becomes normal. But until then, no, everybody's got to do their own little shadow work to be able to get there. That's how it works. And quite frankly, I like that it works that way. I don't know about anybody else, but I like that. It's very satisfying. In any case, so I'll show you these feather cards that came up. And you can feel for yourself, especially with those other two cards in there, whether it feels like that kind of portal too. I'm still going with the portal of chaotic good though, because that's what it feels like. As like, even though it's about the duality of predators and like our predator side, and I think there's, because of that deceit card, I think it's definitely, the shadowy sides of predatorial stuff. People who they're gold diggers. They get with us and make them think that they're in love with us, and then we end up giving them everything. Whether it doesn't, and gold doesn't have to be money. It could be all our emotions, all our time, all our things like that, and they don't contribute back. Or people who scam us for money, or because it's Hierophant too, like could involve government stuff like deceptions, lies, trying to cover things up, trying to control the people through spiritual and religious stuff. That could be another private one too, is somebody who tries to use like say the old, older traditionalist Christian rules about marriage. You don't do divorce, something like that. Like they could use things like that to try to control other people or things of that nature. But there's the other side of that, of like, I mean, think about how we imagine superheroes and things like that. They're definitely predators, and they go out and make their stake known, but they create chaotic good. Like, police might get pissed off that they're out there being vigilantes, but it also shows where the police are either not equipped enough to handle everything, or where they need to pick up the pace, and the same thing with the kind of chaotic good that we can all create. And I don't even fully have like proper words for explaining how that all works. I just know that has been a pretty consistent theme of energy, and when I started lining things up with today, it really makes sense on the build up and to where we are. And yeah, so here's the bird cards, or divine feather cards. So we have White Owl, which is very Hierophant to me. This is the single card that came out after the pile, but it feels like it is first. It says, the wisdom and message of the divine are within you. And we have Cardinal. Stand tall and proud. See the leadership role unfolding ahead of you. Which feels like this one. And cardinals are very, very significant, especially if you're a cardinal sign. Then we have White eagle, or white eagle. The connection to divine guidance is within you. And blue jay, the time is right to access and master your abilities. Do so with humility and control. Bluebird, you are being gifted with blessings of happiness and peace. And then Osprey, your success is now at hand. Allow the abundance to flow to you effortlessly. Right? And I'm loving because we've got some predatorial birds and some songbirds. And definitely, if you think about, okay, blue jay is probably my favorite example here. And then actually, well, is that a blue jay? Yeah, it's a blue jay. I was going to say, make sure it's not a stellar jay. But blue jays are very similar to stellar jays. That's why they often get confused for each other, in that they are very crafty. And I think definitely leaning a focus on stellar jays, because stellar jays are a part of the corvid family, part of the crow family. And I almost went and pulled out the crow card specifically because it has definitely been a theme, but didn't feel like the feather card wanted to come out. But I still feel like it is significant. If you've been seeing, well, just pay attention, because there's crows. I don't know. It depends on where you live. There are crows around everywhere, but look for crows doing something in particular. Like the other day when my DM came over to see the kids, there was this mated pair of crows that were, well, you know what I think? I think that they were a new mated pair, and they were calling to each other, and they were making all these interesting little noises that, like, I don't think he's really heard them much. I've heard them a fair amount because I love crows. But like, if they're doing something weird when you're doing something particular, look at that. It feels relevant. But in that sense, though, crows and stellar jays and blue jays, and even some of these other, like a lot of these other birds too, also create some chaotic good. Cardinals, have you ever seen them on a bird feeder around other birds? Like, they're a little crazy. So, and bluebirds can be quite mischievous too. And so there's so many different elements to all of this that, I don't know, just think about chaotic good, right? Just chaotic good, whatever it is supposed to mean in that. Now I'm going to pull some Rider-Waite on this because we already have other things in there. And in general, I mean, tonight being new moon in Taurus, especially between two super full moons, say one of which is the blood moon eclipse also, like, it's very, I mean, it happens every year, but they're not always super full moons. They're not always eclipses, right, in those times. Those line up at different times of year. And so it's good to learn about those differences so you can kind of catch on to the cycles and the rhythms and go, okay, this is about the time for that. And because of where Venus is and a couple of other things, we have just this, it's like this lust and sensuality for self. And there is definitely, I mean, there's a lot of sacral healing going on, a lot of throat chakra healing going on, a lot of heart chakra healing going on. So there's definitely a desire for, like, physical connection and loving on others. So the main focus is on loving ourselves and on seeing. I feel like if you haven't already kind of caught on to this, that there will be many that either you or others coming around you, you'll notice that they start recognizing that when they are in love, what they're really experiencing is really loving themselves when they feel loved and like a lover, when they're giving and receiving love. Like, so we love how we feel. And a lot of times we confuse that with another person. Like, we think that because we're enjoying loving on somebody else in the ways that fit with our love languages and stuff like that, that we love them. And that's not always true. In fact, a lot of the time it's not true. What we really love is how we feel when we're in that vibration. And that can really it's my youngest son's phone. Say, who's texting him when he's in school? Probably a notification. Whatever. Okay, so I'm just going to say, because that came in the reading, that it was likely to emphasize the message I was talking about. Now, I'm going to pull these Rider-Waite cards, and then I'm going to kind of talk a little more about that Deceit card in there, I think. Keeps calling my attention. And I'd say I want more confirmation from these cards, though what it feels like is that thank you for the words. It feels like a revealing, like an old intention that I set once of the unveiling of authenticity, especially as the watcher, express your joy and allow it. Think about those feather cards. You know what you need to know, or you will know it when you need to know it. You'll know what to say when the time is right to say it. You don't need to plan it. The divine has got you, totally got you. And you are both the predator and the songbird. You are all the things. You are fully human in there. And it feels like so long as you enjoy focusing on that, that more things are going to open up, and there's going to be some sort of victory for you that includes a deception being revealed. And the great thing is, if you've been in vibes of gratitude, when that deception gets revealed, not only are you going to be in such a good place with the humor of life and humility and all that stuff, that whatever it was will not be a big deal to you, and that will likely extremely surprise anybody like confessing these things to you. But it will help you see just the difference of perspective. It's kind of a hangman thing, and we do have hangman energy in here because well, is it because let's see, yeah, 7 and 5 is 12. Yes, yes, yes. To double check myself there, because I don't know, the numerology that I feel called to do for each day does not always feel like it's the same. And today was one of the days that felt like including. But that hangman energy, new perspective, right? We've also, in this portal of chaotic good, kind of got this thing going on. It reminds me of an old what is, I should put story of us. It's a mixture between a friend of mine and then my DM, and the crosswalks in Shoreline in Seattle were so funny. They'd they'd make you wait forever, and then they'd finally say, you get the little green man and says walk, and then suddenly it would change back to red, and we'd just keep walking. Obviously they set that up to try to get people to hurry up. I mean, we wouldn't take forever, but you didn't have to go that fast. But it was funny because we were like, the crosswalks, like, okay, 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 go. Well, no, wait, stop, go back. No, okay, go, no, wait, stop, nope. And then like, what are you waiting for? The clock's timing down. Get over to the other side, right? So it kind of feels like that energy in there, kind of like spirit's playing with, not kind of, spirit is playing with us. And it is saying, like, you humans are so funny about your time. Like, you worry about, is it too late? Is it too soon? Is it too much? Is it not enough? And so we're going to play with you with that. You seem to want to be on this wavelength, so we're going to play with you on it. Is it time yet? No, it's time now. No, wait, it's not time. You got it wrong. Go back, and if you're flowing in gratitude, you just feel joyful about everything. So it doesn't affect you, but you might notice that other people around you who aren't quite in that space yet are a bit affected by that. Stop, no, go, nope, stop, wait, no, right? And Spirit's like, gotcha, right? You might even be pulled into a little bit, even if you're in the gratitude mode. Okay, so let's see what cards come up for everybody. Ooh, interesting. See, now the world in reverse came out, and that kind of makes me laugh, because when I learned something a while back, and I believe it was from Fiery Grace. I think their channel is now Ascent 911 like the time, or Ascent 1111 like the time. But she was Fiery Grace for a while, and she said something one time that really, like, it was like, and it's when you see a person or yourself in hangman energy a lot, 12, remember, there are 2 other numbers in that, because if you turn it around, you have 21, the world. And then you break it down to 3, which is the Empress card. And so, and there's no reason why you can't just say, oh, okay, we're in hangman energy. I'm just gonna turn that around into world energy. And where they're kind of stuck in some energy, now I can I can see where how to move things in the cycle to the next place, and I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna skip ahead because I don't really feel like sitting in this weird shadowy place. I'm just gonna skip ahead, and then you sit comfortably in Empress energy until they catch up. And it's funny that it came out in reverse, and it came out in reverse with the High Priestess in reverse. And what do those make me think about? I don't know about you, but it makes me think about that, right? And what it feels like, so the three cards that just came out, it was in this order. The World reversed, the Two of Pentacles, and the High Priestess in reverse. And off the bat, what it feels like is a masculine who's been fairly immature, who has been trying to hold on to like a divine feminine reverse sort of thing. It doesn't have to, masculine does not necessarily mean man or woman. You fit where you feel in it. They are just energies that I have not formed a better vocabulary for yet. I'm sure it'll get there. But with this in here, and especially on the bottom of the shadow card deck, or shadow card deck, maybe I should make a shadow card deck. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. On the shadow card position, you have the Eight of Cups, like walking away to find that ninth cup so you could get the 10th cup, emotional fulfillment and inward journeys and things like that. But so that, got a masculine who's been juggling. And what it feels like is that with these cards here and these cards here and those feather cards, what it feels like is more than likely this person decided to stick with something they felt stuck in, with a feminine stuck in toxic energy, or a masculine stuck in toxic feminine energy. And they thought that it feels like it's because there's so many different scenarios in the collective. I'm like, it's like ping, 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 ping. No. There's one timeline where it's like somebody that got into relationship, like this guy got into relationship with this person, didn't realize that they were so crafty and manipulative and would use sex and magic and all sorts of things in all sorts of ways, and they assumed that they were this, and so they were trying to get into Hierophant energy with them, create the sacred union, do that kind of thing, and they let go of the rest of their world to be this, and then realized, like they're realizing now, or recently realized, all the deceptions in there, even how they were deceiving themselves. And notice how, look at the order. The reversed High Priestess is behind this Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles is staring at the world in reverse. The world, he's staring at the world looking upside down, which suggests to me, and I'll look at more of these cards, it suggests to me that he's noticed that in choosing the reversed High Priestess, and not the rest of his world, that the rest of his world has turned upside down, and like, it's weird. It's weird because it's real. It's weird because it's not real. Like, figure that out. And then, let's see, hot topic. Oh yeah, look at that. Eight of Wands in reverse. You know what's funny? I learned some new things about this card, and it kind of makes me laugh because this card in particular is a very phallic card, and in reverse it can often represent, especially for men, somebody who's having a hard time getting it up, which is both serious and silly. And it's, it's exhaustion, it's fighting for the wrong things, and it's repeated fighting over and over and over again, usually about boundaries, until somebody's just so exhausted. This is somebody who's been overworked, and they've continued to choose that. It's turned the world upside down, and now they're also in a place where they've not been feeling the zest of life, and because they've not been feeling the zest of life, things aren't flowing to all the places that they would have thought they would have, and that in and of itself is probably creating some kind of chaos, some kind of chaotic good that they weren't intending on with this gal. Now, let's see. Heart of the matter. Oh, interesting. The moon. and it's sitting right over, this is so funny, it's sitting right over the King of Pentacles, and this makes me laugh. Okay, Three of Wands in reverse. Now, the reason that makes me laugh is because there is a car sitting around behind me that the license plate says BYE 1101. And when I see 1101, I always think of the Three of Wands, or 1011. And I was thinking, like, when I saw it, I was like, it means goodbye to waiting, right? Goodbye to waiting for things to come in because they are here. They have arrived. And also goodbye to situations where we've been held back, you know? It's funny, I just saw a big truck that said Wilbur, and that so reminded me of Charlotte's Web, and like he got famous and he got saved. Think about all the miracles in that little movie, right? Like that kind of thing. Um, but what this tells me though is that I'm feeling strongly that this reading is becoming about, if you're a masculine, it's you, or if you're not, then it's whomever you consider, whoever you're recognizing in the rest of this. It's probably about them. But with Three of Wands in reverse, with the King of Pentacles and the Moon in the heart of the matter, which is what they're feeling and thinking about. They might not be talking about it, but they're thinking about it. Is they're done with they're done with the hesitation. They're done like holding on to options just for the sake of fear that they might not have future options, and they're recognizing just how much they have built up. Look at that castle, garden, pentacle in hand, scepter. Look at his robes. He's got the fanciest robes. His robes are fancier than the Emperor's robes. They're fancier than the Hierophant's robes. That's the King of Pentacles, right? And it feels like this masculine, or you, is feeling like the humility that comes with the upright King of Pentacles is like, you know what? I am worth more. I am worthy of the best. I am. But with this Moon card on top, it feels like they're still kind of feeling for the thread of those feelings. They're still a little bit new. And it also fits in with this and with this, because it's likely that these are some newer-ish feelings for them. They may have had them a few times here and there, but people have squashed them. Maybe if you're not this particular masculine energy, maybe you are either another masculine energy or a feminine energy that has been there showing them how to love on themselves by loving yourself, or talking to them in a way that, I mean, it just focuses on the goodness of them, and maybe that for them is still a bit confusing, but they have faith in it. Whatever, you know, that you've been down the windy road with them long enough that they recognize it's there. Now, this also feels like it fits in, though, because the Moon card in upright can often signify hidden enemies. And what was I talking about? Portal of predators, right? And then we've got deceit in there. And I think that's part of why this card came out. Express your joy. And then that other card, make a plan. Because when, like, so one thing that Spirit has taught me delightfully over and over again is that when you have any sort of a sense, even just the tiniest little niggle of a thought that somebody is going to try to undermine you, or do something dramatic or anything like that, or you have to have an uncomfortable interaction with people, all you have to do is be the highest vibration in the room. And no, that does not mean be the center of attention. It doesn't mean that you're not a lesson teacher. You're not doing none of that. You're just being happy as you, and you're expressing your joy. And you would be amazed at how well that can mute any low vibrations around you. It's like magic. Like, people just go and you don't even have to say anything. And you don't have to do anything either. It's all about where you are in here and in here, right? That's it. And in here, I suppose. Let's see. Now, what's on the hot? Oh, we already did the hot topic. Okay, so, yeah, with the Eight of Wands. Oh, yeah, look at that. This is funny. Okay. So, underneath the hot topic card, which was the Eight of Wands reversed, we have the Ten of Swords in upright. Some betrayals that led to ascension. We have the Three of Pentacles. Both a third-party card, usually one that is about images and finances and things rather than like love and stuff like that. It can also be a card of counseling. That's what it was. Like, what was the thing in there? I feel like it's also to a degree a card about marriage, even though they're actually that's not what this card's traditionally about. But my mind is going there, and part of the meaning of this card too is a mini tower card also, because the guy is standing on a bench to be up there working on the outside of the church, and it's not a very stable bench and stuff like that, so it never really started out on that great of stability. And so it feels like whatever the situation was that was being viewed on the outside as a like had the image of a stable situation, at least financially, it turned to that. And it turned to that repeatedly until it turned to this. And then right underneath all three of those cards, Queen of Pentacles. And it feels like, yeah, I'm looking at these other cards. So that feminine energy is very much like just been working on her own garden while that stuff's been happening and learning to express her joy. And that's really, that in and of itself is upending these deceits and deceptions, and especially of the root chakra nature. And it feels like because of so much chariot energy with this portal, it feels like there's going to be a couple of things that you'll probably see happening. Some of it is going to be like not obscene, what's the good word for it? An absurd level of quick movement, both from people who've been allowing themselves to be deceived in situations with karmic energies or situations, or like work or alcohol or stuff like that. Like, they make quick progress away from that. And if there's been any people involved in those karmic lessons, as karmic people, those people are also likely to start very quickly picking up momentum and getting out of that themselves. Like, Spirit's bringing it in, all this extra Hierophant energy mixed in with all the Chariot energy, and it's like, it's time to go. It's time to go off on your journeys separately. Or get out of that old thing. That's so funny, doing the clapping thing. I never do that, so that's so funny that I did that. The other part is what it feels like is because of the predator energy in there. It feels like it's not going to be linear. You're not going to see like crazy stuff happening and then good, and then everybody's free and happy. No, it'll be more of a mixture. And so you might have some moments where you feel free and then you feel pulled back in. Or you see them and it's like, yeah, you're free and you're feeling it and it's great. And then, well, what happened? Where'd you go? Why are you got your boot in the mud again? Like stuff like that. And especially, I think, because of the moons and how susceptible we are when we're in karmic energy to the different cosmic bodies, most especially the moon, that we're likely to see even more increased just craziness, lunacy going on up to tonight, and then to the next full moon, especially because it's a super full blood moon eclipse. Like, that's some big juju. and then the third of the three sisters of the full super moons that we're having right now, that there will likely be, it's a circus. Maybe that's the karmic carnival of the moment, that it's like, if before we went and ran away and joined the circus, this is the time when we're running away from the circus to join home. Which I know doesn't quite make sense, but it kind of does make sense too if you think about it. And if it doesn't, it will later. So I'm going to leave this reading here. I hope you enjoyed it, found it delightful and delicious. If not, tell me below. If so, tell me below. And don't forget to join me on Instagram and on Facebook, and like, share, add your vibes to the tribe, and I'll see you in the next video.